Hello, my name's Sammy, aka Four String Boy, and I thought we'd have some story time today and talk about a couple of weekends ago when I played the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain 2024. Now, if you're not familiar with this particular festival, it's held in Cheltenham in the UK, which is kind of by Gloucester, west coast-ish. The whole festival was put together by the wonderful Matt Stead. He runs a ukulele shop in the UK called the Uke Room, so you might know him from that. You might just know him from being a wonderful ukulele teacher online, or you might just know him from his great ukulele albums. But either way, it was him and like a whole host of fantastic volunteers that put the whole thing together and managed to get this festival running all very smoothly. The festival ran from Friday to Sunday. I was teaching a workshop on the Friday, Intro to Harmonics. And then on the Saturday, I was playing and part of the big lineup that was there. Now, the main venue was held at Cheltenham Town Hall, which was incredible. It was a capacity of 900, so it was like by far the biggest show that I've ever played. And also the lineup consisted of some of my most favorite ukulele heroes: James Hill, Andrew and Jay Molina, Matt Dahlberg, Elizabeth Pfeiffer. Mate, the list was absolutely ridiculous and full of so many wonderful people that I was so lucky to meet, but mainly see play live. So for my performance, I also had my dad and stepmom in the audience who have never seen me play live, but are very supportive, so it was nice to have them there. I also had a whole host of my online students there who have come from all around the globe, not just watch me, but basically to be part of the festival and see all these amazing ukulele players together. And we also had Mommy Juliana from Flight was in the front row filming me for the entire thing. So me and Juliana have spoke obviously loads over the years, but we've never met face to face. So I also had her there watching me represent Flight. So, with all those lovely people watching me and a whole host of ukulele heroes in the audience, you'd hope that my performance went pretty flawlessly then, right? Spoiler, it did not. Now, I say that, I'm still happy with my performance, and things went wrong, and they went wrong, and that happens. But I thought it'd be good to make this video to basically show you that things do go wrong in big things that do matter, and actually, nobody cares. I mean that in a nice way, right? I talk to so many learning ukulele students or just people learning an instrument, and they're all scared of basically not being able to do things perfect, or they're scared of mistakes and screwing up. Now, in Sammy's eyes, chasing a perfect performance is a waste of time, okay? I think it's better to embrace your mistakes and get used to making mistakes and kind of recovering from them or learning to basically bounce back from them. I think that's way more important than trying to chase absolutely 100% of your notes. And what I wanted to show you in the video here was, as much as I practiced and did everything that I could possibly for this gig, there's things that happened that threw me off. There are mistakes that I made. There was stuff that put me in a weird headspace. There's so much can happen on the day. And I just thought it'd be interesting to tell you what was going on, what happened, and basically to show you what can happen at a big ukulele event. I've got to say a massive thanks to Sam at Anarchy and the Ukulele for providing me with all the footage that you'll see today. He recorded my whole set in glorious 4K. So I am eternally grateful for that. And basically without that, I couldn't have made this video. So thank you, Sam. You're literally the best. And if you've never encountered Anarchy and the Ukulele, they're a really fun ukulele channel on YouTube. So go check them out. They do reviews, interviews, just good ukulele content with some good old British banter. Right, so the plan is we're going to go through my set song by song, and I'm going to tell you little things that happened in the song, little things that happened before the song, things that basically went on that shouldn't have happened and how it affected me. But before we do that, I thought it'd be cool to actually talk about my live performance rig, what I use and how it all works. So for a big festival like this, I like to use backing tracks along with the ukulele. If you're familiar with my album There, then it's not just a ukulele album. Even though ukulele is the spotlight and what it's made for, there are piano, bass, and strings going on in the background. And for a big venue like this, I like to bring that along because I think it just fills out the space and kind of gives the grand atmosphere that I tried to give on the album. Now, for this setup, I don't actually use anything fancy. I have an iPad, and I use an app called Multitracker 2.2. And all it does is it has all the WAVs, which is basically the exported backing tracks that I made on here in order of my set list. And then all I have to do is basically click on the name, and there's a big start button. Click that. and then we start getting some sound. Now for me, that just makes it very simple, and also it means technologically not a lot can go wrong. It's just basically quite simple software. I hit play and it goes. What actually happens though is I give myself a bar of silence just before, and basically it's to count myself in. How can you count yourself in with a bar of silence though? I have to use another tool. Now I use this thing, and this is basically called a Soundbrenner Core. It just looks like a smartwatch, and technically it is, but also it's a vibrating, flashing metronome. Now, if you're wondering how the hell that works, basically, the Soundbrenner have an app on the phone, and I have all of my set list pre-programmed into it, basically with all the correct BPMs and the correct kind of pulse that I want, whether I want quarter notes, eighth notes, etc. So I'm wearing this on my wrist, and basically, if I tap play, for example, on the first song, which is No Surprises, I don't know if I'll put it there so you can hear that. That's a very powerful vibration, and we do actually have it flashing as well. Now, the flashing I don't really use, but the vibration is very, very, very helpful. And it means that I have a click, which I can feel with the backing track, but nobody else can hear. Now, it's a good system, but it's not a perfect system. And that's because the metronome doesn't sync with the app my backing tracks are on. So essentially, I have to be, that's clicking, and then I have to hit the backing track play exactly when it clicks. And that way they're both in the same BPM. This has gone wrong occasionally, and essentially I'm like a little tiny bit out. But in order for them to sync out, I need a laptop, and I need much more sort of specialist hardware. And it's stuff I don't have, don't own, or can't afford. So basically this works for me for the moment, and it's easy to transport and basically doesn't often go wrong. So I'm super happy with it. Now, pedal-wise, I have this multi-effects pedal called a Zoom AC3. It's actually made for acoustic guitars, but obviously I run my ukulele through it, and it is pretty damn good. The middle section is all for different effects. So you've got reverbs, you've got delays, tremolos, all sorts of choruses. It has a pad effect. There's this kind of big, weird, spooky reverb that is absolutely my favorite, and I do use that. I do also use the mod reverb lots, which you can hear in the first track that I play. But the main reason I actually use it is because it's got a tuner, which silences my ukulele. It has a boost in case I need to boost whenever I'm soloing or anything like that. Has a compressor built into it, and also a preamp. So it's basically everything I need to kind of round off my ukulele tone, so I'm not just running into the PA. Now, ukulele-wise, usually I bring this girl with me, which is my personal 4SB. Now, this 4SB has a sound wave pickup installed in it, and basically that means that it has lots of effects built in to the actual ukulele itself. I fell in love with the sound wave using it acoustically, and that's basically the effects are generated and come out the sound hole, so even not being plugged in, you can still hear the effects, and that's why I love it. But I did find out after using it that plugged in for live, the sound of the pickup I'm not the biggest fan of. And so basically I was talking lots to Alex at the Southern Ukulele Store about what we could do in order to change the pickup or upgrade. And the thing is, I love the sound wave so much acoustically, so I talked to him about whether it's possible installing another pickup alongside it, but he very cleverly worked out that no, that's not possible. And so the best thing that we could do was just to get me another 4SB and install a My Side Trio into that for live. And so here's the new baby. This is my other now 4SB, but this is the girl that I'll be using for live. If you see, it's got no sound wave in it, but it does have a My Side Trio installed into it. It's fun seeing the subtle differences. I know this hasn't got to do with much, but the reason why I use the spalted maple on the 4SB is because of the differences on every single uke. So each piece of spalted maple will have some different spalts in it and make it look completely different. So I'll be showing off some posts on socials about how this 4SB, who's named Midna, is very different from my OG 4SB, who's called Samus. Okay, so that's everything I use live. Right, let's talk about the actual performance day, which was Saturday. So as I mentioned, I picked up a brand new 4SB for the festival, and that was massively thanks to Flight for getting to me, and massively thanks to Alex at the Southern Ukulele Store, not only for bringing it with him, but for installing all the MySite and sorting that out. What a babe. Now, the only problem with this was basically that Alex was arriving early Saturday morning. I was already at the festival and taught on Friday. Thankfully, I had a student there at the festival who has a 4SB with UkeLogix on that I use. So she let me borrow that for the festival. Thank you. But for the actual playing, I wanted to use this new baby and get it in. So early Saturday morning, I was in my Premier Inn just down the road. It was like a 10-minute walk to the venue. So I had to wait for Alex to arrive, raced there. Alex was very, very busy setting everything up. Gave me the uke, so then I could basically take it back to the hotel to have a rehearsal before I perform. Now, thankfully, I had a quick look at it, and my OG 4SB has a strap button on it here, and that's the strap I brought with me. And obviously this kid does not. So I didn't have a strap that I could use with the 4SB. Again, Alex sorted me out instantly, just grabbed a strap and was like, there you go, mate. This will work. I packed that in my bag and got the uke back to the hotel. Now, the uke basically was brand new, hasn't been played in or anything like that. So it meant it wasn't sitting at concert pitch. So basically, I spent my Saturday morning tuning the ukulele up to concert pitch, playing it, letting it drop down, and then basically trying to stretch the strings so they would sit at basically what is standard tuning. Also, obviously, the standard strings that come on a 4SB are Worth Browns. I'm so used to playing UkeLogix soft tensions. They're my strings on all my ukes now, that playing the Worth Browns actually takes a little bit of getting used to. They're really thin, and I need to dial back my attack on them. So I was trying to think about this as well and kind of worrying about that the ukulele wasn't going to stay in tune for my performance. I did what I could with the time, then raced to the venue and went to fit the strap and realized it was incredibly low. So that's fine. You just adjust the strap and that's no problem. The problem with me and my brain is that I'm not very good at things like that. I don't know whether it's physical or spatial, but basically I suck at stuff like that. So I tried adjusting the strap and could not figure it out. So I brought it into the place where all the artists were, and luckily Mim from Mim's Ukes was there, and she had a look at it for me and tried to figure it out. Matt Dahlberg wandered over also to help out to see what was going on. Samantha Muir came in as well. It was like loads of famous ukulele players come to help me with this stupid strap. And between the four of us, no one could figure out. We could not figure out how to lengthen this strap. We did everything and it kind of just ended up the same. It was ridiculously low, and it was a timed thing. So I was kind of worried that, oh my God, I need this strap to be higher so I can kind of get it up. Thankfully, the ultimate professional that is Matt Stead rolled in, had a look at it, showed us how to do it, and then basically that was it, fixed it for me. I was so grateful. But again, it was kind of one of those things I was like, I've never met the strap. I'm really shit at this kind of thing. And I was getting in a little bit of a panic about it. Now, it was finally performance time. I had a 30-minute set and I'd just been sat in the audience. Who had we seen? We'd seen Peter Moss, Matt Hicks, Paul Mansell, and Mark Gallagher play. And loved all of their sets. They all did amazing. Crowd was really happy. I was ready. Now, Mim was basically the MC and was introducing everybody, and she did an amazing job of that, good Lord, especially buying me time, which we'll talk about in a second. But her daughter, Letty, was the stage manager for the day. She was helping everybody set up. And basically for mine, it was quite simple. Just make sure the iPad's plugged in, plug the uke into the pedal, plug the pedal into the mains. That's it. Pretty simple. But I hit a snag that I've never hit before, and it was only one that I could learn from literally this festival. So I'm glad I did. And that is this. This is my European to English adapter because I live in Denmark, so I have a European plug for my pedal board. So I have an adapter basically to plug into the UK plugs. And basically the where the plugs were on stage, they were kind of recessed a little bit. So basically when this was plugged in, it didn't quite align and stuck up like that, which meant that it wasn't fully connected and it wouldn't power my pedal board. Now, all the power supplies, all the plug sockets basically on the stage were all set up like this. So it didn't matter. It's just that my plug wouldn't fully fit in and basically couldn't power my pedal board. Whilst Letty kind of scrambled around and tried to think of ideas, we talked about maybe just to bypass the pedal board, but again, just because of the uke being so new and with the string situation, I wanted to make sure I was constantly in tune after each song. And also I used lots of alternate tunings during my set. So being without a tuner was like a big no-no. So I had to make sure that was plugged in, and I wanted that plugged in. After about 3 or 4 minutes of scrambling around, basically, they found another extension lead that could fit the plug-in. That did it, powered on the pedal board. It was absolutely cool. Now, like I said, my set was 30 minutes, which I'd planned for, and basically this little drama had eradicated 4 minutes out of my set. So I was kind of panicking then. I was thinking, there's got to be a song that I'm going to have to drop because mine's timed for about 28 minutes. So this isn't going to work. We also had a big lecture basically saying that on stage, there's a little light, and when it goes blue, it means you have 5 minutes left. Just a warning, when it goes red, that means finish your song and get off. That is it. They were really tight because they had so many acts. They had to be really basically tight to their schedule. I respect that. And so now I was kind of worried that, I'm going to have to drop a song. What song do I drop? And that was going through my brain. Even Alex from the Southern Ukulele Store ran on stage just to check that there wasn't a problem with the pickup or the uke or anything like that. And I was like, no, there's absolutely no problem with that. That's all good. So it's just the pedal. And he was basically like, cool, can you just make sure you mention that to everybody? So I was like, yep, that's totally fine. So when you hear me in the first song, that's why I'm announcing that. And so, here we go, song by song. My first song in my set list was my cover of Radiohead, No Surprises. Now, I pretty much always start every single gig with this song. It's because it holds like quite a sentimental thing in my heart, because it was the very first cover that I used harmonics and properly played around with harmonics with. So I've doctored the cover over years to make it fit my style more and more, but basically, yeah, that's always the one I start off with. It's also a good song to help my right hand warm up and make sure I hit all the harmonics. There's so many harmonics, the first riff, all harmonic based. So for me, it's kind of a warm-up song to get my hands used to it. Apart from a couple of missed harmonics, this song went okay. For this gig, I also added in a little tremolo solo halfway through that I've never done before. So I wasn't too nervous about that, but it is what it is. And this song was actually okay. So got me in a better place. Right, and so here we go. Have a listen. Here's song number 1, Radiohead, No Surprises. Hello. Alex asked me to tell you that there's no problem with the ukulele that you provided me today. It was my European to UK adapter problem, so there we go. We love Southern Ukulele Store. Oh, and hello, I'm Sammy. Now, song number 2. Now, basically, because again, the uke was brand new and the strings were still settling, I was making sure to tune after every single song. So I put the tuner on, my tuner mutes my ukulele, sit there. What I'd forgotten to do, because I don't usually do this when I keep in the same standard tuning, I'd forgotten to turn the tuner off. And so as soon as I put the backing track on and I played my very first bar of Frost, my tuner was still on, so I was still muted. I realized very quickly, turned the tuner off, had a breath, and then jumped in on the third bar. So thankfully that wasn't too much of a thing, but for me, I was just like, cool, well done, mate. That's absolutely it. But yeah, that was a big mistake to start the song. There we go. Also, the backing track for this song was very quiet. So obviously when I'd exported all the audio backing track into the iPad, I must have accidentally made this one quieter, because this one was much, much quieter than Radiohead. I could not really hear it. And even though I've got the click on there, it's nice for my ears to be able to hear it. And so kind of trying to lock in, I was having to concentrate a lot more. Anyway, there's lots of harmonics to miss in this song. It's not the easiest, but here we go. Here's track number 2 of my set list, Frost. That was Radiohead, No Surprises. I do spend most of my time writing miserable music about miserable weather because I'm British! So if you forget all my titles, imagine it as disappointment, rain, tax bill. Those are the kind of titles I'm going for. So this next song is one of mine and it's called Frost. Okay, so track number 3 is another one of my tracks called Fog. This one's very miserable, but also it's a very nice one for me to play. I can play it. It's like one of my easier songs for me to play. So this one went okay. I thought it did really well. I was really happy with the sound. Everything went as it was supposed to. So that got me a bit better spirits for it, and then I carried on. So here's track number 3, Fog. The ukulele is known for being a happy instrument, and that is obviously the way it is with the community, but I'm kind of here to ruin that a little bit. So. Right. On that note, this next song is called Fog. Right, so track number 4, because I have a couple of originals, I like to boost it with a cover again. So I played my cover of Keen, Everybody's Changing, which I wrote a couple of months ago. I've never played this song live before, and to be honest, the main riff is really demanding harmonically. So it was either going to go well or it wasn't going to go well. I had no idea how my nerves would handle that on the day. So if you listen to the riff, you'll hear me clanging some open strings and me quickly trying to mute them, trying to do that riff. Like I said, it's really not an easy riff, but I'm glad that I tested it live at least. In the very last chorus, I absolutely blocked out on one of my chords. I meant to go to a D minor, completely just absolutely forgot what I was doing. So I just basically had the fretboard muted, strummed until I kind of landed into the next chord, which is the G7. So last chorus, look out for that, me styling out absolutely nothing into a G7. So here we have it. Here's track number 4, Keen, Everybody's Changing. Here's a less miserable song, not written by me, but written by a lovely band called Keen. Right, so track number 5 is back to my stuff, and this is Overcast. Oh boy. Okay, so usually this song was written and played on a baritone. Okay, so that's how I always play it, and usually in my gigs I have a baritone with me. Because of the tight time restraints, I decided not to switch to a baritone for this one, and just being one track, I thought there's no use to it. So what I did was rework the backing track into the same key as a high G ukulele and rework the song a little bit so it was on high G. This meant it was a little newer, and I'd kind of put this in last second as well. It's one of my most favorite songs to play, and I didn't want to miss it just because I didn't have a baritone. So yeah, hearing it, I know the song very well, obviously in the original key, and kind of hearing it in a high G tuning, up a 4th or a 5th, was a little jarring, but I was ready for it. Now, what I wasn't ready for was putting myself into the tuning of Overcast. So like I said, Overcast is usually played on a baritone, and basically the second string gets tuned down a semitone. So Overcast tuning is D, G, B flat, B down to B flat, E. So that means on a high G, it'd be G, C, E, tuned down to E flat, and then A. This is not a tuning that I use live ever. And because of that, my muscle memory didn't think of that tuning, but thought of a different tuning where I tuned down a different string, a semitone. And so what happened is I ended up tuning my G string down to an F sharp, which is a tuning that I use later on in the set, something that I was already going to be using, and basically put myself in the wrong tuning for the song. I didn't realize, obviously, until I hit start on the backing track, hit my very first chord, and heard a clang of sounds and was like, uh-oh. There was no way of carrying on the song in the complete wrong tuning, so I just had to stop the backing track, made a quick joke of addressing, putting it in the right thing, and just then try again. This made me feel like a complete idiot on stage, but hey, what can you do? You just have to get on with it. And so I did, played Overcast, and I think the actual song, I was happy with it, and it went okay. So here we go. Here's track number 5 in the wrong tuning and then the right tuning, Overcast. This track is called Overcast. You're British, it's 99% of the days, mate. So it's originally on the baritone, but I've reworked it for high G. So if you're like, oh, I didn't like that, it's probably because it's on high G, promise. If you put yourself in the wrong tuning, Sammy, when you play the first chord, it will sound wrong. It also requires a different tuning. There we go, sorry, wrong song. We'll try that again. So track number 6, we're starting to get to the end of my set now, and that's where I start to put the bigger, more amped up children, and that means it is my song Storm. Now again, usually in my set, I order songs so the tuning kind of goes down naturally. So I'll start off in standard and then tune down one string, and then for the next song, it'll be tuning down different string or keeping that in. I'll make it logically so I'm not constantly changing tunings all the time. Storm is tuned G, B, E, A, so the C string goes down to a B, but everybody else is standard. And because Overcast had the E down, I had to tune the E up and the B down, and it was just making sure I was remembering to do that, because like I said, usually I would just swap out ukuleles and I don't have to retune a baritone into that tuning. So that was on my mind, just not to screw that up after screwing up Overcast in the wrong tuning. Storm is also my most technically demanding song by far, but it's one that I enjoy playing the most. So I'm really happy playing that and generally just kind of go into a flow with it. I thought it went good. I thought it sounded okay. So I'll let you be the judge. Here's track number 6, Storm. Anyway, this song is called Storm. Yeah, don't blame me, mate. Okay, so we now have track number 7, which is going to be my final song. This was not my planned final song. I had 8 songs, and my last song was going to be Keen, Somewhere Only We Know, which is one of my favorite covers to play. I wrote another little solo for it like I did in Radiohead to end it. It's such a well-known song. I thought it would go really well in England. But halfway through Rain, I noticed the blue light turn to red, and I was like, cool, this is now my last song and I have to leave. Rain is literally the first song that I ever wrote for my album, so I know Rain and can play Rain really easily and know it like with my eyes closed. So I was happy playing Rain, but it was just at the end, like I said, it just threw me off when I saw this light go red and I was thinking, oh God, okay, now this is my last song. I don't get to play this song that I was really hoping for and having this big response to, but that's cool. We just do it. We end Rain, we say goodbye, and it's over. So I ended up finishing Rain, and then when I came to the mic, I kind of like hadn't prepared to say, goodbye or anything like that. So had to take a breather. The crowd applauded, and then I just said, thanks for having me, and that was it. This next song is called Rain. And there we go. That was my complete performance at the Ukulele Festival of Great Britain. Now, I will say that, there's a lot of mistakes that happened. I was fine. You know what I mean? I'm happy, still happy with the performance. Sammy has a slogan, fuck perfection. And again, I don't try and chase perfection. It's about kind of, you have to roll with what you're given and you just literally do the best on the day. And that's how I usually treat it. And even though I made some really stupid mistakes, even for me, it was a good learning thing. And it's good to talk about it now and show you that things can happen that completely throw you off. And it's fine and normal. It's cool. It happens to the best of us. I absolutely adored playing the festival. It was a dream come true. I couldn't believe meeting all these ukulele heroes of mine, seeing all my students in person. It was a fantastic weekend. It took me a long time to get over it, but I'm so grateful that Matt had me there. I'm so grateful for everybody who came and said hello or said nice words to me. So thank you so much. If you want to see me live soon, I'll be playing the Dutch Uke Day on September the 7th. And I'll also be at the LA Ukulele Festival, September 20th to 22nd. So if you're in the Netherlands or LA, I'm coming for you. But if you're an English person and you want to see me very soon, I would keep your October open. Can't talk about it yet, but October. Thank you so much for having story time with Sammy today. I've been Fortune Boy, aka Sammy, and thank you. Please like, subscribe, all that bullshit. Love you.